Behind the Plate with Coach T. I'm the baseball voice of the Hoyas, Jeremy Huber, joined as always by Georgetown head coach Edwin Thompson. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Jeremy. Great to see you. It's been a little bit, so glad to be able to catch up a little bit what's been going on.
Yeah, time to wrap up the season. And again, another great campaign for your Hoyas, Edwin. Again, I shouldn't say I'm surprised because I know how good of a leader you are and quality kids you bring in, but every year it seems like this thing gets better and better. What a season. I know it had to feel good for you again to have another great campaign on the Hilltop.
Yeah, I mean, when you finish in 2021 with 6 wins, and this year we're planning for the Big East Championship game on national television, there's a perspective that I have, my staff has, and I think to see that kind of come to how close, you get to a championship and you see somebody do something that you want to do, it isn't anything but motivates you, but just since we've had about 10 days or so to kind of step back and reflect, and it's very proud of what we accomplished, and not satisfied by any means, but just definitely proud for this team. And I think that sometimes it will always be remembered, obviously, until somebody has 37 wins and wins the championships. That's going to be the standard. And I think that's going to be something that we can always remember from this group, that they set the standard for the program moving forward, which is really, really awesome.
And Edwin, I think I have to ask, you said you're not satisfied, so maybe I'll use a different term, but the fact that every year you've been at Georgetown, you literally have shown incremental progress where, like you said, that first year was so tough. The second year, you make the Big East tournament. The next year, you win a game. This year, you get to the championship game. Again, how nice is that to be able to not just say, hey, we're getting better, but actually show that, yes, we are getting better here?
Well, again, it goes back to having great staff, great players that buy into a vision and then actually do it. I think it's easy to talk about a vision and easy to talk about winning. We have to go do it. And I think that's the part that the kids we've had, the players we've had the last few years have really bought into that. And this year's group was able to kind of take a lot of the benefits of learning and learning how to win, learning how to win on the road, and then obviously learning how to win in the Big East tournament. And it's kind of like, until you do something, it's never been done. So you have to find a way to do it first, and you can kind of build on top of that. So definitely grateful for the growth each year. Now we got to learn how to win on game one. That's the next step. We won on Thursday, we won on Friday. So we need to learn how to win on game one and win on Saturday. So or Wednesday and then Saturday. So those are the next steps, right? So that's kind of the next things we have to work towards. And that's something that is a lot of fun. It's a journey, but it's also one that we know that we're capable of doing.
You talk about that and one of your wins, and maybe the biggest win of the season. You beat UConn, a UConn team that's doing really well right now in the NCAA tournament, to knock them out after getting swept by the Huskies in the regular season. I would assume that's got to be up there. But, Coach, what was maybe your most thrilling win of this season?
I don't know. I think they're all valuable. They're all hard. 36 wins is a lot. And when you talk about postseason play, I think there's some level of beating UConn, who's knocked us out the last couple of years. I think just having that competitive series we had, and obviously they're in a super regional, maybe in Omaha, right? And so to say that we beat them is something that we're really proud of, and proud of our league. The Big East is such a good league. And so, but I think when you play Xavier, the defending champs of the tournament, who've been in the championship game almost the last 4 or 5 years, to knock them out to get to the championship game. I mean, those 2 days were, even on Wednesday when we played St. John's, we lost, but it was high level baseball games. And it was really fun to showcase our league, how good our league is, and the depth of our league, that, the team that got knocked out of the Big East tournament first is in a super regional, right? 2 wins away from going to Omaha. So I think that part of it just shows how good our league is. And so I think all wins are good, but those wins were in our conference tournament really always be special, right? It was, for me personally, our team, our program, to get to our first Big East championship game was a lot of fun.
And Edwin, just a quick follow-up on that. Again, I know it has to hurt a little bit for you knowing that you guys were awfully close to getting into the NCAA tournament yourself, but is it kind of inspirational to see what UConn and St. John's did? And again, you mentioned the pride, but also kind of saying, look, we're not that far away.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kansas State's in a super regional. We lost them by 1 run. Virginia's in a super regional. James Madison was in a regional final. So, our schedule allowed us to be in contention on Selection Monday. We weren't we didn't get in, but we were definitely on the board. The NCAA Regional National Committee, we were on the mix for that large bid. I think that in itself was a big win. But it definitely shows us that, we're where we want it. We're trending in the right direction. We're not there yet, obviously, until you do it. You just have to continue to keep working to get to that point. But that will be something that we'll continue to build on. And hopefully the next group will embrace that and know that it's not going to be given to them. You have to earn it. And we'll keep moving this thing forward.
Talk about moving things forward, Edwin, and this year you move forward with a guy who won Player of the Year honors in Christian Ficca, kind of the head of a long line of player accolades, a lot of talent on the hilltop. And it's interesting with Christian, kind of an incredible story in a sense, not only just coming in as a catcher, moves to first base, plays a great first, but also the fact that he really was struggled with injuries in 2022, never really got his footing under him, to go 2 years later and to be the Big East Player of the Year. Again, how was he able to do that?
Well, at the end of the day, I always tell the players is like, when you invest into your craft and you really work at things and you listen to the coaches, Coach Keener, Coach Johnson, like they did such a good job with him this year about his plate recognition and plate discipline. When he had more walks and hit by pitches and strikeouts, like that's as a guy that led the league in a lot of categories. That's really what separates him from the years past. He still had some wild swings. It's kind of who he is, and we kind of let him be himself. But he was able to really find his niche and with 2 strikes, battling, putting the ball in play, and just make it difficult. And sometimes beating the shift here and there, bunting every once in a while. So his game kind of evolved over the last couple of years, and he really embraced who he was. And he didn't try to be more than he was at times. He was just really consistent for us. I'm just so proud of him to have, our third, major award in 3 years in a row. It's really said a lot about our coaching staff and how much they develop our kids. And I'm fortunate to have guys that buy into those, what the coaches give them.
And it's kind of funny. I was watching some of the coverage you guys, and John Fanto, maybe the voice of the Big East, was saying how you said, look, he's got a bit of a crazy swing, but we're not going to change it because, at this point, it's kind of what he does. We just work with it. Is that kind of the way you feel? And is that was that tough as a guy that knows hitting yourself? Was that tough to kind of not tinker with it a little bit and say, look, if we tinker, this might become an issue?
Yeah, sometimes if you tinker, guys overthink things. Sometimes the best coaches just let them be there, in best coaching jobs are just letting players be themselves. There's times when players need maybe a mental adjustment or a physical adjustment, but like some guys need to let them just be free. And that works for him. And I think that's the fun part about seeing his journey, was able to see him just be free and easy and have fun. And obviously he loves this place more than anything. That's his dream to come here, a family legacy and everything, but just his ability to be himself and be authentic. That's all we also want for all of our players. Sometimes not always players have the success like he has. So then you have to kind of dive in there and help in that navigation process. But it's also one that we're very proud of him for sure.
Another guy you're proud of, Coach, is Everett Catlett, a guy that maybe a little bit like Christian, maybe more so, had struggles early in his career, not only injury, but inconsistency, some wildness on the hill, really put it all together. How did he lock in this year?
Again, maturity was another guy that bet on himself to come back to school after a chance to sign a free agent deal last summer, but had a rocky, sophomore year, if you will, or second year of fully playing a full season. But this is his first full season of baseball. He was healthy. And so, number one, health was really important. Coach Capon and Coach Mo did an unbelievable job with him to get him dialed in, and what he was able to accomplish was special. I think he led the league in ERA in conference games, and he just, as far as starters goes, he was up there anyway. So, first team guy, just really proud of him, really proud of what he was able to accomplish and what he's able to do. But I think the maturity of his, the mental component, his physical talent was there. It just, he never let things bother him. So if he happened to walk a guy in the past, he may let that carry over to 2 guys or, let a big hit. He kind of was able to focus on that next play and that next pitch, which was you want the guys to do. And he was able to be mature enough to handle himself between his starts and all he had to deal with. So I was really proud of him as well.
Coach T, another guy was on the first team All Big East squad. Joe Hollerback came over to you, joined your program out of Cornell. Mm-hmm. How do you find his niche, and how important is it in this new world of college athletics that guys can see that someone can come in and have that success as quickly as Joe did?
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the guys we've had. I mean, you look at Nolan McCarthy, our first year, Division III guy, was an all-conference guy. You look at Ubaldo Lopez, was an all-conference, all-region guy. Ethan Stern, So we've had guys that have come in. I'm missing, a ton of others. Cam Meyer. I mean, there's so many of them guys that we've had. Austin Kretschmer, to even this year's team, Cody Jensen. But what happens, I think, a new environment. It's a fresh start. You're kind of mature, right? So from a graduate standpoint, you're kind of mature. You kind of know the landscape of college baseball, and you kind of have things kind of figured out a little bit. And then it just needs to be a place where you can kind of, be yourself, but also put you in the right role. Once we got him into the DH role, I don't know what he hit since batting DH, but it was pretty high full time. And sometimes it frees guys up and allows them to kind of be. I think he led the conference in batting during Big East play numbers wise anyway. So really, it allows guys to come in and have a chance to have success. I think the guys we brought in the last couple of years for 1 or 2 years, they've always had. Marco Castillo had a great year this year. Like, he was a guy that had a great year last year. So just coming in and handling the business like he did was great to see.
Coach, a few other guys with second team recognition, kind of give some love to them.
Yeah, I mean, Owen Carapalati, catcher. I mean, caught almost every game, so that was a hard task. It wasn't like he DH'd some or played first. Like, he caught double headers. He caught 5-game weeks. Really proud of what he was able to accomplish for a second year in a row to be on the all-conference team. And then Jake Hyde, just, so proud of him and what he was able to do from his career. I'm glad he got rewarded. I felt that like a Kavi Koster could be on that mix as well. So we're excited to have him back next year to hopefully get him, back on the team. But just really proud of all the guys that made the awards. Just really, really proud of them.
Coach, I know you've got to be proud as well of your staff. You mentioned them before, Coach Capon, Coach Bankston, Coach Keener, Teron Johnson as well, plus guys in the past like Julius McDougall that helped you build this thing. Yeah. How big of an edge has it been for you to have those guys having your back?
Well, I can go back to our first year. We had Greg Frady, who was my former coach, and he was able to come in and give us the stability our first year. And Coach McDougall, the last 3 years prior to this year, helped build this team essentially. And then Coach Keener did such a great job of taking over the offense, and Coach Johnson coming in and kind of adding, what he did to help our team. And Coach Mo and Coach Capon have been here, obviously for the last couple of years. So having continuity, having stability is always really important to any program. You look at UConn, you look at Virginia, you look at those teams that have been really consistent throughout the time. It has been really, really great to see that. And not only to see like the impact that they have, but see their growth as well, and obviously, our staff is really talented, and I always feel that they're all-stars, and I think they don't get enough credit because, our pitching staff led the country in ERA in conference baseball with like a 2 ERA. All the major conferences, we had the lowest ERA or one of the top ERAs. Coach Capon and Coach Mo, offensively, we had some really good statistical numbers the last couple of years, but this year we had a really great year. So like those guys, deserve all the credit in the world, and I think a lot the players feel that way, that they're going to be well coached when they come into our program, and you're going to have a chance to get better. And that's what kids want, to get better.
A few more with Edwin Thompson. Coach T, how will you be spending your summer?
Well, I think right now, it's just kind of recapping. We're finishing exit meetings last week, staff meetings, kind of going into the summer with a plan. What we need to, from a roster standpoint, we got to manage our roster and really trying to make sure we are attacking our needs, and from graduation, the draft and who comes back and who doesn't come back and extra years, all those different things that we kind of have to navigate every year. And it's laying a foundation of planning for the fall. We're already kind of planning in plan mode. And we've kind of had about, again, a week off to kind of reset, get settled, and kind of get back into the swing of things. But, we'll be on the road recruiting here in a few weeks, or, throughout the summer in June. And July will be really busy for us, end of August or middle of August, early August. We'll have some camps. So we'll kind of stay busy. We'll also go watch our players. That's always fun, where I can go up and get a popcorn and sit there and watch our players play and not have to worry about making a decision. Just go watch them play and support them. That's really important. Our player development system is all of our guys we play in summer baseball to some capacity. So having them going out and getting, experience and learning from different people, being around different teammates, and hopefully, if they have things to work on, which everyone does, has a plan to work on that, things to get better.
Edwin, quick thumbnail. Can you give us on where some of your Hoyas will be playing summer ball this year?
Yeah. So we have Andrew Williams will be in the Cape Cod League. We have an incoming player. Will be in a couple incoming players will be in the Cape Cod League. The New England Collegiate League will probably be our largest contingent I think, Joe Stella, Jaden Sheffield, Blake Scaff, Kyle Lazarick, Jordan Kahn, Jack Volo will all be in the NECBL. We have some guys in the Northwoods League. We have guys in the Valley League, and we have a few guys. Where else are they at? All over the place. So one couple guys in California. So just kind of all the returning players and all of our incoming players will all be playing in summer leagues. I know we'll post that pretty soon, probably early next week or middle next week, once we kind of finalize their contracts. But obviously, it's a huge part of what we do, and looking forward to following the guys. And again, it's fun for us to watch video and just watch them play and kind of just step back a little bit, let them kind of grow and have time for themselves to figure out what they need to work on.
Last one for you, Coach, and obviously mean this only respectfully because what you've done has been so great, and I know you're a competitive guy, so you're always striving for the best, but sure. What does this program have to do to maybe take that next step, and how can that be aided by others?
Yeah, I think, we saw it this year, moving to Capital One Ballpark, seeing the fan support, next year, we want to have bigger events, bigger people, more people coming out to watch us play. I think we have a great product. Our league is so good. I mean, it's with the Pac-12 leaving next year, our league's probably gonna be the sixth best league behind the SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and the Sun Belt. Like, we're gonna be one of the best leagues in college baseball. So I think it's to come out and see some high level baseball. I think fans and alumni and donors and supporters, that's always going to be the case. We always need support. There's never enough. You never have enough. Even when you have more, you need more. But I think being able to contribute in different ways. But I think the next steps for us is really just continue to go on our process of where we want to be. Our goals haven't changed since I've been here. Win a regular season championship. That's always going to be our number one goal. If we can't do that, qualify for our conference playoffs, and then be playing on Saturday, and then win on Saturday to be playing in the regional. And then once you get to regional, it kind of goes from there. And so that's kind of where my focus has been, trying to get us to that first Big East championship to help our team get to the NCAA tournament, whether it be an at-large bid, which now we're in consideration to do, or we can be in do it the hard way. But I think either way we go, that's our goals. And we have to just continue to trust, and it takes time. It takes some teams and programs 10 years, 5 years, 6 years. I don't know. I don't know when that's going to happen, but we're going to keep everything in our power to continue towards that end goal. But at the same time, we had a 3.4 GPA this semester for our academics. We graduated all of our kids, and they're all doing great things in life, and guys are going to have a chance to play professional baseball. So we're hitting all the marks. We're doing all the right things. We just continue to keep building and keep growing, and know that we're not going to be a little kid on the block anymore. People are going to come for us in a different manner, which is what we wanted when we got here. Put Georgetown on the map.
Well, Coach T, you've definitely done that. And again, it's been so great being a part of this program, a small part of this program, though. Again, I have to thank you. I've had some parents come up and tell me how much they love my calls. And I tell them, you know what? You don't have good calls. You don't have exciting baseball. And that's what you've brought to the Hilltop. Coach, thank you so much for everything, and have a great summer.
Thanks to you. And, I appreciate all that you do. I think that's, you're the voice of the Hoyas, and that means a lot to us. And we feel it. We love the energy. And we know that when we hear the calls on social media or on the videos, like it's genuine. It's mutual respect for what you do, because there's a lot of ways to go about this thing. You do it the right way. So we appreciate what you do and how much you support us.
Thank you so much, Coach. That's Edwin Thompson, and that'll wrap it up for this edition and this season of Behind the Plate with Coach T. Keep an eye out for announcement on the Georgetown baseball social media platforms about where the Hoyas will be spending their summers, as well as the latest news on the program. Again, thanks to Coach T. Edwin Thompson and our producer, John Flannery. That's all for Behind the Plate with Coach T. I'm Jeremy Huber and Hoya Saxa.